or the argument, they show, right? Because they usually don't say, but they show that they're struggling to actually knock that off.
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely.
Does everybody understand what I'm explaining? So when we talk about boundaries in an intimate relationship, you have to understand that what I'm attracted to, and again, not just people. When I'm talking about attraction in this moment, I'm talking about the behaviors that you're attracted to. So now name something that, if you guys understand what I'm saying, name some things that are examples of somebody being attracted to something that is not healthy or mature for a relationship.
Money.
Explain.
Drama.
I heard somebody yell out money first, and I'm trying to understand what they mean.
When it comes to a point in a relationship where you no longer really you done took so much that you no longer care about like what you're supposed to care about in a relationship, to where it's like,
yeah, but I'm asking you. Okay, so let me rephrase what I'm asking, right? Because I can tell there's a misunderstanding. In relationships, right, we can have a conversation, we can make agreements when we get together, or as we, process and go through our growth together, right? There are certain things that have to be confronted in regards to what you and the other individual are actually attracted to. So like one of y'all said, drama, right? So it may be that it is understood certain things with us being in a relationship, we shouldn't involve ourselves in. But every time I look up, you're involving yourself in that type of stuff. So there is a lack of discipline in this area based on you being attracted to something about drama. Do y'all understand what I'm saying now?
Yeah. Yes.
So name some other things that these are things that are showing up that this person is attracted to, and it is not anything to do with a type like physically. It has to do with like what you can't get enough of or discipline yourself from or control yourself with.
Gambling.
Okay. What else?
Promiscuous. Promiscuous.
Say that again.
Being promiscuous, like a sexual addiction.
Okay, so I can tell y'all still not getting it. Let me explain.
Well, I was gonna say ghosting. Like I was attracted to men who would ghost me a lot and then come back in my life and say that this happened. But I still, even though I didn't want to do it, I still dated people that were very inconsistent when it came to the relationship.
Okay. So so let me explain this a different way so y'all can get on the same page, right? You guys are naming things, right? But when I'm talking about attraction, this is psychological. So when you say gambling, right? I'm not talking about the gambling. There is something psychological that the person is attracted to, right? That needs to be addressed. Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
I think I understand what you're saying now. Like, are you seeing somebody who could be like overly ambitious, or like you're attracted to them being ambitious, but what comes with it, like the type of stuff that they're going to do because of that?
No. So so I'll just name them because you guys are struggling to, right? So for example, when somebody said drama, right? If I'm in a relationship with Chrissy and me and Chrissy agree that we're going to be together, we have talks about growing financially, and we had some business conversations, like we want to start our own business as a couple, and I go to work, she go to work, we might got a kid or two or whatever, and we're just trying to do what people do in relationships. But it comes up once where Chrissy finds me in some mess, right? I done got under a post online and did some shit. Now we arguing with some people, and two people got on the phone and some drama occurred. Came home, I talked to Chrissy about it, and we had a discussion, and it was like, yeah, you just need to stay away from them type of people. 3-4 months pass, you look up, some other drama done occurred. It might not have been online, but maybe it's with my sister and my cousin where, we all arguing and this happened, and really, I've inserted myself into some stuff that has to do with them that I didn't have to, right? So me and Chrissy have this conversation at home again. Girl, let me tell you what my cousin did, and she, you know, we talking about it and again, it comes up like, well, you just need to not involve yourself or not comment and not give your opinion. It's time number 2. You know, we moving forward. This maybe a year later, some other drama come up and then, you know, it's something else that I've inserted myself in. There is an attraction to the concept of drama, the attention that comes from it, the things that go on psychologically in regards to going back and forth with somebody trying to prove yourself right or not, your name being mentioned, the attention that you get from it, the ability to be able to go home and say, ooh, let me tell you what happened to me, the victim side of it. So the point would be, Chrissy on the surface could say, okay, we got issues with boundaries and, you know, you just always in some stuff and I don't know if I want to be with somebody like that. But the real issue is I have an attraction to that type of shit. That's why I keep ending up in it. Now, as the person, I'm not going to say I'm attracted to drama. You're going to know I am because humans gravitate towards what they are attracted to psychologically and emotionally. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining now?
Yeah, so I'm attracted to liars, basically.
So, no and yes, right? So I get what she's trying to say. And I'm glad you did that example, right? If Chrissy is finding herself constantly involved with people that lie, the attraction, because you don't have control over whether people tell the truth or not. But the problem or the addiction or the attraction is in the fight to be right. The fight to point out that it's a chase now. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you know somebody is lying, it could be a different person than the last person that lied. But when you know, okay, this person is lying as a consistent behavior, right? If you stick around, there is something that you're chasing in regards to your behaviors when they lie. There is something that you're attracted to in regards to how you behave when they lie. It's not that, oh, I just like liars.
That was definitely my personality when I was dating.
But Chrissy, rephrase. Yeah. What is it that you're attracted to? It's not that you're attracted to liars.
I'm attracted to being right. I'm attracted to being right.
You see what I'm saying?
Like yeah. Yep. That was definitely my personality for sure. Ooh.
Do y'all understand? Is it clicking now? Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Hey, love, may I check my understanding?
Yes, go for it.
Yeah.
I think essentially what you're speaking on is that, for example, if we use gambling as an example, you're not attracted to gambling by itself. You're attracted to what for that possible endpoint that comes with gambling. You want that big ass pay. You want that big ass pay that comes from gambling. So you just stay in that. So you stay in that shit for the probability of that actual payout.
So let me explain it this way, right? Because not quite. So with every experience that we have in life, it affects us psychologically. Everybody understand that? Everything from ups to downs, happy moments, sad moments. There are things chemically, hormonally that occur in your body, in your mind, throughout your cells, your nerves, your receptors. Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I'm saying confront the attraction, right? The stuff that you need to be looking at is, what does this do for me? That's what I'm attracted to. So for example, there's a feeling, right, that Chrissy would get when you in those moments of catching a liar lying or catching on to the fact that he or she probably lied. It's not that I'm just waking up saying, oh, I want to go date another liar. There is something chemically, hormonally, psychologically going on with me that I'm attracted to that particular feeling, thought, mood, temperament, energy, right? And it is familiar. This is why I always bring up generational curses, because a lot of the stuff is familiar to your subconscious mind from what you were introduced to when you were a child. Some of the stuff is stuff you don't even remember. But when you confront what you're attracted to, you just know that it's coming from somewhere based on previous exposure. Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Kind of like impulsive shopping.
Thanks.
Right. So on the surface, it could be like, ooh, child, you can't stay out the stores. But there is something going on psychologically when you're making these purchases and you're getting home with this stuff. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining?
Yeah, I used to shop just because, like, it made me feel good in the moment. Like how people smoke their first puff of their blunt. Like, that's what shopping was for me.
So, go ahead, Keisha.
No, so I see where you're going. It's like we can tell you what the surface is, right? Yep. Like the impulsive shopping, the emotional unavailable man.
Yep.
But it's what's under that is what I'm missing. It's like what's wrong, not so much what's wrong, but what's the issue and why you're attracted to that.
Exactly.
So we see the surfaces.
Exactly.
Is, emotional unavailable men.
Exactly.
So what is it in my brain that draw me to that? And a lot of it is like you want to be, in my situation, it's probably more you want to be, it could be abandonment issues because you want to feel needed.
Yep. And this is why I say what I say about therapy, because a lot of people, they don't realize that when you go to therapy, they help you see the deeper rooted issue. You home thinking, oh, we just got a communication issue, or oh, this nigga just don't know how to keep his dick in his pants, or oh, and there is something else going on. Do y'all see what I'm saying? And when we talk about setting boundaries in relationships, you have to understand stuff about yourself in order to do this like an adult. Does anybody have any questions on what I'm explaining? Because it's important that you get this. Does everybody feel like they understand?
Yeah.
Yes.
Linwood, does it make more sense now?
I think it does.
Okay, so what do you understand me to be saying?
Okay, so basically, if we go back to the shopping aspect of it, we're aware of the payout that we're getting. We're getting a bunch of stuff. We're also especially when we look back on it, on the negative aspects of it, which is we just spent a lot of money. The idea is we're attracted to both aspects of those things because it's so familiar. This reflects on the generational curses aspect of it. This is why we're really technically attracted to it, both the positive and the negative aspects to it. This applies to anything that we are addicted to.
So you're overthinking it. And the reason why you're overthinking it because, again, I'm going to say again, certain things happen when you experience stuff in life, good or bad. Things happen within you hormonally, chemically, cell-wise. Just know you're not just going through stuff and it's just happening. Stuff is correlating with the experiences that you're having in life. Do you understand that? Okay. So now as you go through certain shit in life, right? There is a point where when shit feels good, cortisol, dopamine, certain experiences that the emotion in the moment relates back to emotions from a child or emotions tied to certain beliefs, you will be attracted to the behavior, right? Because it makes you feel good. Now, when you end up in that space, what I'm trying to explain to y'all is you have to realize there are not areas in my life where I get to feel good on healthy stuff. So this is why I'm repeating the unhealthy behaviors, even though I can verbally say out loud, I don't want to do this, or I don't want to be seen as this, or I don't want to be known as this. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining? Does it make better sense now?
Yeah, it does. Yes. Now it does. Yes, it's clicking now.
Like I'm going to stress, don't overthink it. Because if you can't understand this part, you're not going to understand what I explain in regards to boundaries in intimate relationships. We as adults have to be more clear with ourselves, keeping it real with ourselves about what we're attracted to.
I think I'm just I'm just really just listening to understand. I really don't know nothing about boundaries. It's something where I really lack it. And that's why I'm just trying to understand. I'm listening and just trying to understand it, because everything that I thought boundaries were, it don't seem like, okay, that's not a boundary. That's just something that you don't like, you saying you don't want to be associated with, like,
That,
where
yes. Yes. And so this is, and I love that you said that, because this is where, and this is why, so on a side note, this is why it's so important as you grow up and as you get older, you need to continue to educate yourself, because she is correct. Most people believe boundaries is just like what Shell said earlier. I don't answer my phone after such and such time, or I don't do such and such. And those are things that, yes, on the surface, based on the definition of a boundary, that is a boundary, but it's tied to autopilot, habitual behavior, or like you just said, to something that I don't like. So I'm not going to do it anyway because I don't like it. The discipline and the real boundaries come into play when you set standards or deny yourself of stuff that is tied to things that you're actually attracted to. So when we talk about grown-up shit, right? There's this idea of getting into a monogamous relationship and staying disciplined with certain factors or certain areas, right? Everybody that is grown knows that there are times that both the man and the woman, whether they say it to their partner or not, and I'm not even speaking on whether they should or they shouldn't, but they have these times, right, where they're looking at someone else and there is a attraction or a flirty side or a inappropriate glance. Does this make sense to y'all?
Yes.
The grown folk know that this goes on and that you have to discipline yourself to not act on it, right? You have to set certain boundaries based on your commitments to your intimate relationship that are tied to my discipline and my ability to consciously know, I like that. Damn, she fine. His ass fat. Damn, he tall and handsome. Damn, she pretty. Damn, y'all seen her twerking on the ground? Damn, you seen him with all that money? These are things that I know consciously I am attracted to. But on purpose, I'm setting certain standards. I'm operating out of certain discipline with myself based on supporting from a healthy space what I know is good for me, what I know I committed myself to. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining?
Mm-hmm.
These are the boundaries that I'm not talking about the ones where you don't like her and so you got a boundary where you ain't talking to her. Bitch, that to a certain extent turns into just a habitual behavior. Are y'all clear on this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
One of the biggest problems with this, right? When we talk about boundaries, one of the biggest problems with knowing like where to set them, or like Micaiah said, knowing what they are or understanding what they mean. One of the biggest problems is that we're not honest about what I just said. Everybody want to pretend like we don't think certain thoughts. We don't do certain shit. You ain't like just operating out of delusion. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining?
Yes.
So now if you understand, tell me some of the bullshit. I gave some examples. Tell me some of the bullshit I'm talking about. That on the surface, everybody want to act like people don't do this when they're in relationships, but we know that they do. And I'm speaking on like mostly what's occurring in the mind, behind the eyes.
Following females on social media.
That what? Because ain't nothing wrong with following women
that twerk and shake ass.
And it ain't nothing wrong with women that twerk and shake ass if that's what they want to do.
But
what is the problem with?
Right.
But see how she still, and I want y'all to really understand this. She still ain't saying it. What's wrong, or where does the discipline need to take place? What's wrong with following these women?
Nothing's wrong with it. The discipline needs where he needs to not act on it.
But
Pop
what?
in the DMs.
You're still not saying it, right? You're stating what a person don't need to do, right? But what is wrong with it? What makes it wrong? People out in the world twerking, or somebody over there swinging their dick around on like a helicopter in a video. There is nothing wrong with that when it's over there or just out in the world. If that's what those people want to do, and there are lookers or viewers that want to entertain that, when does it become a problem?
I'm gonna say if y'all had a
Say that again, Shell.
Communicate.
Oh, go ahead.
When it enters you guys' relationship. I'm sorry.
So nope.
Go ahead.
No, you good.
But I heard what Shell said. She said when it enters the relationship, nope. I said, think about what's behind the mind. Chrissy brought up the action. I'm Chrissy boyfriend, and the action is following big booty twerking hoes on Instagram. She's saying that is an example of one of the things. When does it be? Why is it a problem to follow those women?
So the problem starts with the thought of why he did it, why he followed her.
So what? This you see how it's a struggle for me to get y'all to just say this shit. What is wrong with following women that do this? Because it's not wrong to hit the follow button. When does it become wrong?
I feel like it only become wrong when it become wrong to you. And
no. So when you say only wrong when it become wrong to you, what do you mean? Explain.
Only wrong to you as in if we done had a discussion about it and we said, hey, we're not gonna do this, and you do that. I feel like now that if I'm bothered by it and I still stick around and I said that was a boundary for me or something we wasn't going to do.
Nope, you went too far, Micaiah. So we ain't got to that part, right? And a lot of what she's saying is you trying to boss somebody else around, right? So, okay, so I'll give you an example. Drinking alcohol. Same way we talking about following big booty twerking bitches online. Drinking alcohol, just that statement is not bad. Following women that have a, attractive, sexualized page is not like the end of the world. It's not a huge drinking alcohol. When does it become bad?
When it becomes an addiction.
Okay, don't use the word addiction. When does drinking alcohol become bad?
When it's habitual?
When you're trying to use it as a coping mechanism. When you try to use it as a cope, like how do I say it?
When it starts to affect your behavior, like after you have X amount of drinks.
Alcohol affects everyone's behavior. It is factually and scientifically and statistically proven that alcohol impairs your judgment. So whether it's one drink or 97 drinks, as soon as you consume an alcoholic beverage, no matter what you tell yourself, chemically, you have been changed. Y'all understand that, right? And I like that the conversation is going this way. The reason why is because I'm showing y'all how much we fake, right? So let me just say the answers to this stuff. Following a big booty bitch online becomes wrong when you're actually lusting or wanting to fuck. It's nothing wrong with following a beautiful woman or 90,000 beautiful women online. It becomes a problem and it becomes a question in regards to what boundaries need to be set in a relationship when thoughts behind your eyes got you wanting to fuck. Discipline. As a grown man or woman, if I want to follow beautiful women that every now and then you see them with their swimsuits on or they clapping their cheeks like Meg Thee Stallion, nothing is wrong with this if I am not behind the eyes having these thoughts of smashing that. To the point where I want to act in ways that don't match up with how my life is chosen to be set up by me. Alcohol. It is not a problem to drink, have one drink, two drink, or 5 drinks. It becomes a problem when your thoughts about alcohol go straight to being drunk. So, and some of y'all know people like that. It ain't just about, let's go have drinks. Bitch, I want to get drunk. Oh, I'm finna get fucked up. My nigga, I'm finna drink this whole motherfucking bottle. The thoughts, right, is what makes the shit inappropriate. The world gonna operate how it's gonna operate. You're not gonna be able to control people watching stuff or say that everything is wrong because it makes you uneasy and try to set all these fucking boundaries for how other people need to act or what they can and can't do around you. When we're referencing intimate relationships, the shit becomes a problem when the thoughts don't match up with what you say you want the relationship to be like. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining? And we flow about this shit. That's why it took y'all so long to come out with it. And some of y'all was never going to say it because you don't like to be grown and say, even though I'm in a relationship, I have been out and seen a tall, dark, handsome man and said, damn, he fine. Like, you don't want to admit that these things go on. So everybody just like to play crazy, like just the idea of something is bad, and it's not. It's about discipline. It's about understanding what am I attracted to.
You know what? It goes back to what you said, Dorsey. Why I couldn't really think of it is because, again, yeah, it goes back to what you said. We don't, in the relationship, because I've been that girl, when I seen the person follow the women, it's like, okay, that's not the problem. Well, what the fuck is behind your head to even want to follow them? So we don't know that. So we should start assuming, we start making judgment calls because, like you said, we don't really talk to the root of the issue. Everybody stays surface level, but subconsciously, that's what we're thinking as women. Like, you're following her because you want to fuck her.
Right, but here's the thing.
You see what I'm saying?
Right, so here's the thing, right? Notice when I said that, I said when you want to act on it, right? Our problem is, Chrissy, especially like what you're referencing in regards to women is, we try to pretend like this is abnormal behavior, but everyone does it. Let me.
This is actually starting to click.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make it click more, right?
It's starting to click.
And let me give you an example.
Yeah, man.
Everybody, whether you was struggling or not, and I mean motherfucking everybody, has had thoughts about not paying a bill and doing something else with the money.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes a problem when you start to thinking about actually moving on it. But that thought has came up. Once you become a grown adult and you got bills, rent, lights, water, mortgage, life insurance, car payment, the idea is there will be moments in your adult life, if you willing to be grown and have a real bitch conversation or real nigga conversation with me, like there are moments where you think about doing other shit with your money. And then where the line is drawn is there are people who these thoughts come up and we continue to move forward based on grown folk behavior. Like, bitch, I thought about it, but I'm finna pay my motherfucking bills. And then there are people that think these thoughts and then now they want to act on it. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
We don't like to say, so on the surface, if we was all out in public, everybody would pretend like, bitch, I don't do that. I'm trying to pay my motherfucking bills. No, I don't do that. I try to keep my bills paid. I'm worried about my bill. Everybody's going to talk like everything's just on the up and up. Same with relationships. If we're out in public, y'all gonna act like y'all don't look at people and think certain things from a lustful space. But it is a fact. It is a part of our flesh. It becomes a problem when the thoughts turn from just a thought, right? On the surface of just identifying, oh, he fine, or oh, she pretty, or damn, her ass fat, or oh, she twerking, to a damn, I want to hit that. Fuck, I want to fuck that nigga. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining?
Mm-hmm.
Is it clicking now when I'm saying surface level, we are fake about this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now going back to what I said about what you're attracted to has to be confronted. Meaning there are things that I'm allowed to have thoughts about. And I want y'all to really understand this because some of y'all females said a couple things that I can tell you're controlling, right? You cannot dictate, right, the lustful thoughts or the surface level actions of a person, especially when it's human behavior. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining when I'm saying this?
Yes.
Yes.
Anybody not understand this?
I'm following.
Okay, so now let me go to the number one space that everybody, mind goes to. When we talk about sex, right? What is the scientific, biological reason for sex?
To reproduce.
To reproduce.
Yep.
Reproduction.
Somebody else say it and use a different word.
Oh, I said reproduction.
Have babies.
Have babies. Procreate, reproduce. That's the sole purpose of that action before you put anything else into the conversation. Scientifically, right? So scientifically, the point of putting a dick in a pussy, a penis in a vagina, is to create a human. That is the goal of that, right? We are a species just like animals and every other species. The law of nature, that I don't care what your religion is, I don't care what your race is, I don't care what kind of house you live in, I don't care what kind of car you drive. The natural order for a species is to do what? So they don't go extinct.
Have kids. I mean, wait, we on humans.
Yes. Any species. It's not humans. I don't give a fuck if it's a germ type, an ant, a fucking bee, a alligator, a goddamn lion, a tiger, a bear, a bird, a motherfucking snake. It doesn't. In order for that species, human, I don't fucking know. In order for that species not to go extinct, meaning no more of those particular people or things or animals or mammals or reptiles to exist. In order for them to continue, they have to do what?
Reproduce.
Okay, we just talking about science, right? So the sole point of fucking in regards to humans, and I want y'all to understand, this is higher level conversation, because when you can't get out your feelings about your baby daddy or your boyfriend cheating on you or your girlfriend cheating on you, you won't be able to receive this. So on a science level, this 6th, 7th grade science, right? In order for any species to continue to exist, they have to reproduce, right? Some species reproduce asexually. Some species reproduction is necessary naturally, biologically, scientifically. And you a retard, I'm gonna just say this, if you think you can argue with science, right? So the concept of human race continuing, the human species, humans in general. I don't care if you're from India, Asia, South America, North America, Canada, fucking Afghanistan, Sri Lanka. I don't give a fuck. You got to fuck to reproduce, right? That's what it's for. So now, naturally, because that's what a species has to do in order to not go extinct or die out, right? In us naturally, there is a drive to do that. Everybody clear on that? Mm-hmm. Without you waking up and saying, I want to fuck, you're going to naturally have an urge to do this because our species is biologically and genetically wired to be attracted to this behavior so we don't die off. Do y'all understand that? The same way like when you see a dog get in heat and they start just humping stuff. They're not doing that consciously. Their body is saying, in order for us not to die off as a species, you are at a certain lifespan where you got to fuck, pump like this. Pump, hunch until you get this bitch in a hole where we can reproduce. Do y'all understand that?
Yes.
It's occurring naturally. Okay, so if you understand that, right? When you look at our species, for us to reproduce, right? A woman produces what?
An egg.
Okay. A man produces what?
Sperm.
In a period of time, in regards to producing a baby, not getting into twins and triplets and all that other stuff, how many children can a woman bear in a 9-month to a year cycle?
One.
How many? One. How many can they take? We're taking one single man and one single woman. How many? Because y'all said a woman in a 9-month to a 12-month span. I'm talking about the babies that make it out of the vagina. Only one. We ain't talking about twins and all the other anomalies that occur, right? Nope. One, right? Naturally. Okay. So how many babies can a guy produce in a 9-month to a 1-year span?
However many I put my dick in.
Say it again, Linwood.
However many I can put myself in.
One more time for anybody that don't get it.
However many I can put myself in.
Okay, so a man can just walk around and fuck 100,000 women and has a good chance of impregnating 100,000 women. One woman has only a good chance of producing one child, right? So now tell me what you think naturally, right? The sex drive of these two individuals is like.
Oh, men are higher.
Explain
Way higher than women. Well, because men can reproduce more than we can. So they have the urge to fuck more than us.
There you go. Somebody else say it in a different way. I want to know that y'all get it.
They can nut all day. When though us as women, we probably could, but when it comes to reproducing, we only got one egg.
Okay, so now let's have a grown folk conversation. I said all that to say this. Men naturally, not because they asked for it, not because your mama told you that niggas ain't shit and that's why they act like that, not because you know what your baby daddy did to you is not because of any of that, but because biologically, genetically, scientifically, based on what type of species we are, they are naturally wired with a higher sex drive than a female, because sex, the original point of it, was for reproduction so that the species does not go extinct. Is everybody clear on that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so now with that understood, when we go back to being grown, right, and having grown folk talk about the thoughts that we have, tell me if we're just going to go inside the mind of a man versus a woman in regards to sex, what do you think is a difference when they go about and view the world?
Who they
Say that one more time.
release into.
Say that again, Sharika.
Who can they, release into? Like how they can get that energy off.
Okay, so if we already said a man's sex drive is going to be naturally higher than a woman, who has the real greater struggle in regards to discipline with sex?
Men.
We do.
Somebody give me an example of what you understand the struggle may be in a man's mind with sexual thoughts versus a woman.
Like, not to go after, like, the lustful attention, the lustful opportunities that are out there.
Yep. I want to know. I want somebody to give me a difference. I want to know that you can describe how men and women are different in regards to sex. The psychological part.
Men can look at something and get hard. A woman, well, no.
Men can do it with no emotions attached. So
yes, yeah.
What else?
And then the woman is more thinking like, trying to analyze the guy and see what type of fit he will be, versus the man is just, he don't even care. Like he'll nut at anything.
So is it clicking
the
that?
woman is more.
Go ahead, baby.
I would say the woman is more, she's thinking deeper about who she has a baby with versus a man.
So, yes and no. And the reason why I'm saying that is because y'all talking very...
Can I try?
Go ahead, Linwood.
I was about to say, based on our sexual drives, as a man, our attention span in the realm of sex is wider, while a female's attention span, when it comes to that, is narrower.
Okay. So thank you. So, and a lot of y'all beating around the bush, but it's not because you're trying to. It is because on the surface, we're not used to being real about this kind of stuff. That's why I like how this conversation is going, right? So let me just say it since y'all won't say it. And hopefully by the end of the Zoom, I won't be the only one just saying the shit bluntly. A nigga mind all day is jumping all kind of places in regards to sex, lust, fucking certain things, right? Do y'all understand that? Whereas a woman's mind can have some of these same sort of thoughts, but it's not as often as a man. Do y'all understand that? Mm-hmm. And so now let's fast forward to relationships, because we're in this Zoom to talk about relationships. When we discuss things like be a nigga piece, or there are certain things at home that you should be doing that regardless of what you go through in the relationship, you need to make sure that man is satisfied sexually. When you hear people say that, it could sound very like misogynistic, or like, well, why are they only considering the man and his needs and what he wants? If you understand the science behind this, you will get that the levels in regards to discipline with sex don't start on the same playing field. Our problem a lot of times as women is we are so far off from the reality of this conversation. We want what is unrealistic. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining?
Yes.
And then men teach men about discipline with this kind of stuff, right? And the reason why I say that is because men are able to talk to other men, right? and get an understanding on why am I like this? Like, bro, I could just look at a bitch and if her legs move a certain way under the dress, like I start thinking about such and such. Young boys need to be around men that are mature and positive and are aware and able to have these conversations with them. Girls need to be explained the science behind the difference in the sex drive of men and women. Because when we get into setting boundaries with intimate relationships, you will not approach them appropriately if you don't understand this. Because like I said earlier, when Shell brought up certain boundaries where you just don't feel like doing something, there are certain things that you could make or break the solidness of your relationship off of saying you just don't feel like doing something and you're going to ignore nature or science, something that you nor the nigga have control over. Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is it clicking for y'all?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so if you understand this psychologically, right? If I understand, okay, in my man's mind, there is so much more stuff going on in regards to sex than that ever goes on in my mind. I understand that we are not on the same playing field and I have to think and operate differently. Everybody clear on this?
Yes.
Now, in regards to discipline with, for example, sex, you have to be aware as an adult male or woman, sex drive's not starting in the same place at all, of what you're attracted to. This is where the discipline to set a uncomfortable boundary, and the boundary is uncomfortable at first with yourself because it's you denying yourself of certain things that you're attracted to. So now we go back to like what Chrissy was saying, like following sexy women online or something like that. If you have the discipline mentally, where I understand what I am as a man and how I'm built scientifically, and I can see things like this. And although I'm allowed to have the surface level thoughts, if I'm with a logical woman, it only becomes a problem if I am prompted to act on it. Do y'all understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Is it fully clicking for y'all? Because I'm trying to bring it full circle.
Yes.
Chrissy, do you understand now?
Yes.
So now going back to what I originally asked y'all, what are some things in relationships that this particular thing is a problem based on what it shows in regards to what you're attracted to? We already talked about sex. I brought up drama. Anybody?
I think we did mine because I did have the need to feel right in my relationship all the time. So I would attract men that would lie or cheat or something like that. And then it'll do something to me like I knew it. I knew your ass was a shit, but it wasn't. It's just the need to always want to be right. And I noticed that I'm like that even in I used to be like that in regular conversations. I just didn't know that connected with what you just said until today. I didn't know that attracted liars.
And this is why, again, like I said earlier, this is why therapy is so important, because it will show you certain things about yourself where you think surface level stuff is the problem, but it's not. So somebody else proposed to the conversation the attraction to shopping or excessively spending. It's never about the items you're buying or the shopping itself. It's about the feeling, the emotion that comes along when you acquire a new thing, or you see something that someone else has that you view them as doing well in life. So you believe that you have to get that thing in order to do well in life. But really what it's tied to is your attraction to that emotion you get, that feeling, that sense of belonging, that sense of fulfillment, that moment of I'm doing better based on owning this item.
I can't, maybe you, I mean, I know you can't word it. So when I went to therapy, I used to tell my therapist, like, he don't take the trash out. He don't do this. He don't do that. I was like, but in my mind, you know, that's something that I felt like he should have done without me communicating. I was like, and then he's so passive aggressive. And she said to me, she was like, no, you're passive aggressive. I was like, how am I passive aggressive? She said, because you're expecting him to know what you need without communicating and you're getting mad.
Yep.
And now y'all have an argument. I was like, what the fuck?
Yep.
So ever since she said that, I was like, ooh.
But this is why I'm having this conversation because you're exactly correct. This is why I'm having this conversation prior to us talking about the actual boundaries to set. Because if you don't understand that in order to set appropriate boundaries in an intimate relationship, I have to actually know what we need boundaries for. What are your things that you're attracted to that push against or press or break your discipline? Break your discipline. Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Oh, say that one more time, Dorsey.
So I am talking about the things, when I'm talking about boundaries, like I said, I'm not talking about the boundaries that's easy to set because you don't like something and it's tied to your habitual behavior anyway. Like saying, I don't answer my phone after 9 o'clock, when in all reality, even if I did answer the phone, like I'm probably going to fall asleep because I'm tired and I got to get up in the morning. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the stuff that you're attracted to, that if I want my relationship to be healthy and grow, I need to set certain boundaries with myself and other people that I have to actually consciously stay disciplined with. Do y'all understand what I mean when I'm saying that? If you don't, just tell me.
I'm trying.
Can I say something?
Yep.
Love.
I'm
Thinking about for me, what it would. I know you got coming from on the right path, but like my eating habits. Like I know that I am an emotional eater, and it's very easy for me to make that emotional connection with food and start to gain weight back, and then that can affect the relationship because it starts to affect how you view yourself and then your intimacy with your partner.
Yep. 100%. Do y'all understand what she explained?
Got it.
I want to know if you genuinely understand what I'm explaining. This is the front conversation in front of boundaries.
I'm just trying to understand.
Tell me what you think that I'm saying. What do you think I'm getting at when I'm talking about, as an adult, maturely confronting what you're attracted to?
Is it basically like the only way I can do it is use an example? Is it like me being attracted to somebody who's gonna come around and be around just because I don't want to be alone, or like even if it ain't really what I want, or how I think it should be based on what I want, like the boundaries that I would hold up to not experience that, but in fear of being, alone and just not by yourself, you kind of look past that. So I guess I'm saying the things that you need to do.
So what it sounds more like with what you're saying as you talk, it sounds more like you're referencing standards, right? Standards are tied to self-esteem and what you believe you deserve, right? I'm referencing what you're attracted to, right? So when I'm saying this, like, okay, from a therapy standpoint, right? If we were all in a therapy session and I was, seeing you guys, right? As you tell me certain things about yourself or you explain certain situations, I'm going to look at your behavior and where you're attracted to going to the most with your words, with your actions, with your beliefs. Do you understand what I mean when I say just that?
Yeah.
So like, for example, I can get into a conflict with you or anybody, or I could be the mediator of a conflict, right? And then so as I sit and watch, I could notice that one of the parties keeps directing the conversation back to something being done to them, right? And no matter what we talk about, how we say it, what different parts of the conversation we confront, they keep going back to something was done to them. An injustice was done to them. You had them fucked up. You tried them. You hurt them. You broke them. You stabbed them. You were disloyal to them, right? As I watch the conversation, it could be on many different subjects or one particular thing. If that person keeps going back to the idea of something being done to them and you never see them shift to the concept of a solution or how can we move forward, they have a what kind of mindset? Somebody help me out.
A broken mindset.
Nope.
Victim.
A victim mindset. Trying to always make the conversation lead to something being done to you. You have a victim mindset, right? So now let's talk about a person with the victim mindset, Micaiah. What are they attracted to?
Feeling like they're attracted to situations that bring them attention.
Yep. What kind of attention?
Sympathy, feeling sorry for, like, oh, that was messed up to you, or like just feeling bad for it, just pity.
Yep. You're absolutely correct. So now, if you were that person, right, and I'm presenting this conversation about, Micaiah, let's confront what you're attracted to before we start talking about what boundaries you need to set, right? You have an attraction to attention off of people pitying you or feeling like you were done wrong, right? So now from a mentor space, what I would then say to you is you just play victim in this scenario, Micaiah. What do you get or benefit off of this particular behavior?
Like a false satisfaction of like, yeah, you had me fucked up. Like,
right. So it's a false satisfaction. Right. So it's a false satisfaction because are you actually gaining anything by continuously being a victim in every conversation or in this particular conversation? Are you actually gaining anything positive?
No.
Micaiah, are you actually gaining anything positive?
No.
Okay. So as the person helping you from a mentor space, you're telling me that you're not gaining anything positive. So why are we continuing to do this? Do you see so now this is the question of what things need to be put in place? What discipline do you need to set with yourself to knock this off because you're able to see it does not benefit you? So just to speed this part up, this is when you hear me on lives talking to people and I'm saying no one's coming to save you from that struggle story. They don't give awards to people saying, I raised all four kids by myself. I was in one. And then I call him with another woman. It's just been, what do you gain?
Nothing. You don't get nothing. And then people be looking down on you for real after they fake pity you, do all that.
Come on.
It's really just
now you
sad.
preaching. Yep.
It's just pitiful. Like you ain't got no emotion. You just lame. You using all this as an excuse. It just looks bad when you look at it like that. When you say it like that, it just really look like I'm gonna sit in your face and be like, all right, but I'm finna go talk about you like like.
But so now let me talk about the chemical part, right? So what happens, especially in our community, right? When somebody goes through something like this, like, ooh, child, John left Keisha with them 3 kids. What does the news do in our community?
They talk about it.
They talk about it, and then some people may even pick up the phone and do what?
Talk about it even more. Call a person.
Yep. Call you to try to, like Micaiah said, fake check on you, or maybe they even feel pity like you wanted to. So now you're getting attention, right? Off of being a victim.
Set up for just debate to be done like that by others.
But in our community, when you go through some shit or some drama or you are a victim of something, they highlight it. So now you get attention that you don't normally get. So now watch this, right? Deshaun, I got 2 children. I go to work. I got a CNA job. Me and my 2 kids. I'm not with my baby daddy. Like, it ain't no bad co-parenting, but it is what it is. Nobody's really paying me too much of mine. Or I'm the baby daddy Joe. I got 2 kids with Deshaun. Like, I work construction. I take care of, my kids to what I feel like is the best of my ability. Ain't nobody like really checking for me every day. I'm just living my regular life, right? You have a dramatic thing happen where Joe and Deshaun get into it. It's all this drama, right? turns into this victim thing. Not a community. Girl, you heard about what happened to Deshaun. Deshaun, girl, I heard what happened. What Joe did, bitch, he dead wrong. Girl, they wrong for that. Yeah, child. So now I'm getting all this attention that I don't normally get. Day to day, I'm just working my CNA job, come home, taking care of my kid. These type of things happen to a person enough, right? Where you don't have boundaries for, how you move with your time, your conversation, things you are willing to share, things you're not. Guess what happens?
It's like some sort of excitement almost.
It is. It is attention. And then you get these moments where you're able to say, watch this, because I'm a victim of whatever Deshaun did, or maybe Deshaun a victim of whatever Joe did, right? You get these moments where you are able to say, and I don't understand why a bitch got my name in their mouth. Keisha and Linwood over there talking about what the fuck I got going on. Mind y'all motherfucking business. Hating assholes, hating ass nigga. Now I got haters. I got Keisha and Deshaun. They hating on me, keeping my name in their mouth. Got a whole post going, talking about me. Bitch, Deshaun already done tried me. You see what I'm saying? Now I'm getting attention. I'm getting this false sense of validation or that people are worried about me. Y'all see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
It will make you addicted if you don't understand what the fuck is happening. Because it makes you believe you matter. Now, everybody just take a second and think. I know you know of someone, if you don't know them personally, that operates off this. It's like they want shit to happen so that they can say all of these things I'm saying so it can sound like they matter.
Yes, Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all understand what I'm explaining?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Chemically, they're attracted to certain emotions based on this shit. So on the outside, it looks like, oh, she attracted to drama. Or she got that victim mindset, which that person does. They are. But then it goes deeper. If we're going to talk about fixing it, we have to talk about, do you understand what it is that you actually like about going through this type of shit? Because on the surface, you're going to say, I'm so tired of this drama, but you won't end it. Oh, I'm so sick of this, but you won't solve. Oh, I just wish we could just get along. But every conversation, you ain't want to talk about nothing that has to do with the resolve to move forward. You just want to keep going back to what was done to you. Do y'all understand this?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So first off, when we're talking about boundaries in relationships, there is those moments where you have to understand, what the fuck am I attracted to? Because this is where I need to start in regards to discipline and setting my own limitations on what I involve myself in. So even going back to the sexual part of the conversation, it ain't nothing wrong with lusting on the conscious mind as you see attractive people throughout the world. When you watch sex scenes in movies, that's what they design them for the shit to appeal to thoughts in your mind. You see the part of the movie, the music changed to a certain thing. They taking their clothes off. Next thing you know, they fucking. You sitting there watching it. It is designed and scripted, and the music is selected to appeal. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We are just not being grown enough to say it is normal to have lustful thoughts. It is normal to have moments where you have those thoughts of, oh, bitch, I wish I ain't have to pay this mortgage and I could just take this money and go on vacation or do X, Y, and Z. The things become a problem when you are acting on shit that doesn't match with what you committed yourself to, with what your responsibilities are to your relationship. Do y'all understand full circle now?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Anybody have any questions on what I've explained so far?
So, Dorsey, for an example, if I'm dating a man, and for boundaries for me, as far as me, if I'm dating somebody and he shows like one little red flag or something, and I decide I want to have this conversation with my friend, the boundary would be how often I have the conversation so that it doesn't cause me to start to change my behavior with the person I'm dating. So I would know, listen, you need to not have these conversations with her because she's going to give you bad feedback.
So explain it again. You're saying, Are you referring to the guy, or are you referring to talking to your friend about your relationship?
I'm referring to me. Yeah, so I'm referring to me talking to my friend about my relationship, and I notice her feedback is negative. The boundary would be I need to shut up and just know that, okay, she's not a safe space because it's going to cause some shit in my relationship.
Okay, so let's talk about it, right? The whole point is, and I say this to people often, right? If you're in a relationship, and I ain't talking about one of the ones where you just fucking or dealing with somebody, but if you're in a serious relationship where I'm trying to make this intimate relationship become an important thing in my life, right? You have to ask yourself, what is my attraction to telling people that don't know any more than me stuff about my life and then seeking advice? What is my attraction to that? Like I was having a debate, right? With a associate of mine. And at some point in the conversation, I stopped and said, why are you so attracted to like other people telling you their business? Like in that moment, it wasn't realized by the person that you keep repeating a defense for this particular behavior. It's showing that you're attracted to that. Because if you ever ask me, I believe in talking about your personal relationship stuff in therapy. Things that have to do with direct conflict between you and the man or woman that you're trying to be with, it needs to be in a space of confidentiality, a space where there is respect for certain emotions coming out, a space where there is an individual in the room that is intellectual and has certain data and an educational background on healthy communication, positive social relationships, things that have to do with the mind and the chemical of the body staying healthy. So you have to ask yourself, when I go through stuff, and this is when we get into like back to the victim conversation, what is it that I'm attracted to about telling this one particular friend or friends about what is happening to me? Because that's why you go back and tell them. What am I attracted to?
I need to change the way I ask myself questions. So how you basically broke all that down and you said when you were somewhere, you asked yourself, what were you attracted to? I'll say something like, what make me keep doing that? But I need to say, what am I attracted to so that I can go deeper?
So perfect. So let me give you an example, right? I used to be in that type of space, like in my early adult years, like when I was 20, 21, 22, right? So for me, if anything happened, I'm going to call my best friend, right? As I got mature and I grew up mentally, I understood I call my best friend because they're going to side with me. Even when they have the moments where they tell me where I was wrong, they still going to end it with, but bitch, I'm on your side. And so there was an attraction to that, to going and having that person that's going to, even when I'm wrong, make me feel like I'm right. So it wasn't that I was just, on the surface, you would say, oh, she attracted to telling her business or telling him everything. No, the attraction is to the fact that when I tell my best friend stuff, they tell me back all kind of verbiage that boosts certain emotions and hormones in me. It makes me feel excited and good that, bitch, I ain't the only one that thought like that. Like, I ain't crazy.
Validation.
Prissy, yep.
You're attracted to validation and reassurance.
Yes. So that's what I'm attracted to. Even on the surface, it looks like I'm just attracted to telling my business. When you grow up, you realize I don't need to be attracted. This is where the discipline and the real boundaries get set. I don't need to be attracted to speaking to people that validate and reassure me about the current way that I think. I need to be attracted to and willing to get in rooms and get uncomfortable with people that challenge me to think differently than how I think.
Absolutely.
So now when we speak on boundaries, I have a boundary set where I'm not running to my best friend about every problem that I'm having. Instead, if I have a serious problem in my intimate relationship, I'm going to go book us a therapy session or myself a therapy session and go talk to somebody that is willing to point out the real flaws that I may have. Somebody that they don't give a fuck about validating me in the moment or the feelings of we may not be as tight as friends if I don't agree with what she's saying. If I come in that bitch saying some stuff that sound crazy or stupid or wrong or gaslighting or narcissistic, they're going to tell me. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining?
Definitely.
Yes.
Anybody got any questions on understanding this?
No, just got to get to the root cause of what you're attracted to.
Yep.
You got the surface thing, but it's really not so much the emotion. It's the surface thing is what we call it. Like going back to the example of someone saying they like the going shopping and stuff like that, retail therapy. But under that, what's causing you to, what's driving you that way?
Yep. So I'll give you an example.
Your friend, you need validation, so you seeking validation or needed that boost to make you feel good.
Yep. And then you know how you mentioned the unhealthy shopping, like the excessive spending, the emotional buying, right? When we talk about what you're attracted to, right? You are yearning for, or you are attracted to those moments of feeling like, right, you've accomplished something. So what you have to now go confront is I need to set a boundary, set a limit for myself on how far I'm going with this spending. And I need to seek other healthy areas to get those feelings. Meaning in my everyday life, I'm supposed to have fulfillment and growth, right? Feelings and spaces based on advancing and progressing as an adult. When you don't, you just go buy stuff when you get paid, and it makes you feel like you're more successful than you were last week or last month because you own more things than what you owned previously. But if you actually set some limitations, some boundaries with yourself in regards to how you spend and when you buy, right? Start a budgeting plan for managing your money, and then you actually start setting goals, get a planner, plan out some things that push you towards real progress. You will get those same emotions fulfilled without that particular behavior. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining?
Yes.
It's starting to click more and more.
Right. It's like earlier when I had said money, it's like, oh, it's not money, it's comfortability.
Yes.
So now you got to draw the boundary around how you going to make your own self comfortable.
Yep. And Micaiah, you're absolutely correct. When you take, like, let's say, for example, because, you know, I grew up in the projects and, you know, I done been involved in the streets. When you take that average dude in the streets that it's like, God damn, you can't sit down. You like chasing a bag. But like you said, it's really the fear of not being comfortable, right? If I don't got the money, I don't feel comfortable. The money a lot of times is tied to the self-esteem because I got certain attention from people when these pockets got fat. Nigga tell you all the time, back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me, right? So now the idea is if you would just fix your credit while getting your money, buy some assets like a property, get some life insurance, invest some money. You don't have to go aimlessly or wildly hard at chasing the everyday dollar like a madman, right? Because you would actually have the fulfillment of comfortableness, and you will still have that, now I'm hot, they all on me swagger about yourself, because it will show up in the fact that you will consistently be able to keep a vehicle. You will consistently, without mindlessly chasing money every day, you'll be able to keep a nice vehicle, have a decent place to stay, keep food in the refrigerator, keep, you know, some nice clothes on your back. You see what I'm saying? There is deeper rooted issues behind the behavior. But if we're not willing to have the conversation, you will sit up and talk about boundaries from a very surface level. Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Can we address this codependency, the build-a-man mentality that we have? Like, find these, no shade to them, but I find as of lately, with doing the work, it's felt like you find a lot of women are being attached, or I guess it's like when we're pouring more into a man when they don't have anything, we feel like we're being loyal to them. We're being this, we're being that. But as soon as they get on their feet, it's like they go out here. But a lot of it is just what we're attracted to, what we're trying to fix or find within ourselves, what we're lacking in ourselves, and then we're trying to find it in them. So I call it like the build a man mentality, because it's like we building them up to make ourselves feel good, but it's something that we're lacking, and it also ties back to that codependent behavior.
And when I was like that, Dorsey, I was actually attracted to being controlling. Anytime I went for a man who had less than me, it was the controlling aspect. Like, oh, I can control everything he does. If he do this, if he do that. But I didn't realize that, again, I had to go to therapy and do all these to realize this is what you're attracted to, and here's why.
Yep. So
no, they ain't say it like that, but they just told me like because to me therapy is still kind of surface level, because I didn't been to therapy and I've never been told like this, like how you're telling me.
Because if you really understand, like I'm hood, I am well educated, right? I am self-taught with a lot of stuff. I have a well-balanced upbringing, but also there is a side to what I do that is prophetic or anointed, right? So when I explain it, I don't care to show you how educated I am, right? In one particular way or another. I care more about the fact that you get it. So it's like all these things blend together in the moment and something takes over to where it is able to be explained out of the psychology book on a hood nigga level. If you understand what I'm explaining. So I'll give y'all an example. There is a book, there is a, and it's not a reading book, right? It is a tool that psychologists, psychiatrists, social scientists use in regards to behavior. It's called a DSM-5. And this is how you actually deem somebody with a personality disorder, like a narcissistic personality disorder or a bipolar personality disorder. I know that book very well, right? The average people that y'all watch on podcasts and shit, they don't know that book like I know that book. But I also know the streets and hood shit very well. So I can take stuff out of books like that and make it an analogy to where you don't even have to have a high level of reading skills to understand what I'm explaining. And this is what makes me that wild card in the room. And I'm saying that to say this. If you go to therapy and you don't go with the intent to tackle certain things, you will be in there blind, so to speak, just getting told educational stuff, which on a surface level, it ain't nothing wrong with that. But if you're looking for deep healing, if you're looking for your life to do that fucking somersault, like the people, that are on my platform do, you got to go in there, right? And you gotta have at the front of your brain, here is what the fuck I'm here to solve. Do you understand what I'm saying, Chrissy?
I think a lot of times, too, love, people on your platform that have gone through, one-on-ones with you, we're more comfortable with you versus because everybody have this idea of a therapist, this older white lady in a pencil skirt and a blazer with glasses on, she gonna judge me if I tell her what me and my baby daddy are gonna So they'll think of it in that mind frame, so they won't even really bring up the root of the issue. And it's like, man, she wouldn't even begin to understand this. Yeah. So that's why people have to find a therapist that, just because you start with one therapist, that don't mean you have to end with that same one. You can always go to another.
But the idea is you're supposed to go to therapy and look for a therapist with the intent to solve a particular thing. So, for example, there are therapists that specialize in childhood trauma. There are relationship counselors. They specialize in relationships. There are therapists that specialize in communication. There are therapists that specialize in, sexual assault. There's group therapy. There is the concept of therapy from an addiction space. There is grief counseling, which is a therapy. So the idea is you have to confront, which is why I'm explaining about what you're attracted to. You have to confront certain things about yourself, like as you go seek help. The other part of it is like when Keisha brought up the way that we are in this pandemic, so to speak, of women wanting to get men and build them up, right? We on the surface, and y'all know, I'm going to be very blunt, right? We don't like to admit as women that we have a controlling issue. And I'm telling y'all from the most endearing space, it comes from all this fucking single mothering. Because when there is one individual left to do a 2 individual job, you need more order and control to manage the group. The group sees more of one person ordering and controlling the environment. So as these individuals in the group or the family unit grow up, no matter what you verbally say out of your mouth, there is this space of wanting to control shit like I saw that one individual do. There is a very boxed in way of thinking. There is a very one-sided view towards that particular gender that was the head of the group. And I'll give y'all a perfect example, right? There is the video that's circulating around, or the posts that is circulating around about the lady who she had her young child helping her wax vaginas. So on a surface level, as a woman, as a mother, as a black woman, as an American, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a woman that has girls, right? As a woman that wants to pass the torch of her entrepreneurship to my children, I understand very well the thought process of that particular woman, right? And so anybody that hasn't heard about it, a lady that's an entrepreneur, she's an esthetician, I believe, and she does waxings, right? So she waxes, vaginas, right? And so she had her daughter, who I don't know the age, but it looks very elementary school, in her business with her, waxing adult vaginas. So she made a post, and she made the post. Nobody didn't tell on her. She told on herself, making the post from a spell. Okay, so Chrissy's saying the girl was 7. So a 7-year-old helping wax grown women's vaginas, right? From like I said, a space of just me being me. I understand what she was thinking and why she was doing what she was doing. There was no malicious intent or negligence in the thought process of this. She made a post. She thought it made sense. The legacy or the torch, like this was her thinking, right? There is a lot of, on the surface level, that was wrong, right? We all can agree. Does not make sense for a 5 or a 7-year-old, however old she was, to be looking at adult cats, right? Not appropriate, not okay, right? But from an adult standpoint, as a mother, I understand what she was doing, right? Or attempting to do. There's the other side where you got to be grown and be real. It was not very parental, healthy, mature, or the, best decision in regards to raising children and what's appropriate to expose them to. Everybody can agree with that, right? Now, there is a huge part of our community, right, as fellow black women that are under all of these posts saying that she made a mistake and that we should give her grace, like don't beat her up too hard. She should be able to, work through whatever parenting plan and, go through whatever legal stuff and get back in a space where she can be back parenting her child, use this as a learning experience and move forward. Have y'all been seeing that, what I just described in the comments, as a majority?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a woman that exposed her daughter to adult private parts, right? And I just explained why, right? In our community, same community that's saying, give her another chance, which I don't disagree, right? I am not in disagreement, because as a mother and as a woman and as a person that has made mistakes myself, right? Maybe not the same mistakes in the same realm, but I understand what it feels like to make mistakes. I don't disagree. Get her a parenting plan. Let her see through the consequences legally of her actions. Let her get back on track and earn that right to be around her kids or her child, right? I don't disagree. Here's where my disagreement comes in, and here's where I talk about the difference in my thinking and other people's thinking. Everybody looking at this and it's something to talk to, right? But when fathers fuck up in ways that's nowhere close to this, what does our community say? What do females say? What do baby mamas say? What do single mothers say?
Yeah, shit, deadbeat.
No, I ain't even talk. Listen, I ain't even talking about what they call them. Because hold on. I ain't talking about what they call him. They call this lady names too. Sick, the throw up emoji. She's not good. I ain't talking about the motherfucking names. Listen to what I'm saying. I agree, and the majority of our community agrees, she deserves to get a parenting plan and work her way back into her child's life. What the fuck happens when dudes mess up and it don't even got nothing to do with no vaginas or dicks being put in front of no child? What does our community, same black women, same men, what do they say? Go ahead, Jessica.
They can't never see his baby again.
They don't never see the child again.
Yep.
Yeah, they kind of say
Cut him off. Cut him off. He can't see my baby. Cut him off. He can't come around here. Cut him off. I'm not bringing my kids around. Cut him off. We don't say, get that man a parenting plan. Let him go through his legal actions and let him get back around his kid. Bitches ain't saying that. That's how I know we sick in our community. That's how I know it's a problem. Even when bitches sit up and say, Dorsey don't know what she talking about. That ain't no issue. We're sick. The fact that you will watch a female and have empathy when the actions that she did was dead ass wrong. It was dead wrong. We understand that what you thought you were doing, but it was wrong. But we're willing to, yes, let's help her. Y'all don't be too hard on her. That was dumb. But soon as a man do something that don't even have shit to do with a nigga could forget to buy a certain pair of shoes, or don't give you the money for a birthday party, or bring your child around somebody that you don't like. Now, nope, you can't never get your kid no more. Nope, they can't come over there no more. Nope, you ain't gonna see this baby child meet that girl. Nope, you ain't give me the money, you can't get it. Nope, get from around my house. Nope, we are sick. Our community is sick. We are gender sick in regards to raising children. We are weird and fucked up in regards to raising children. We are one-sided. We are biased. We are locked. We are lost in regards to the family unit and understanding the power in a child, a family having both parents. A woman put adult pussies in front of her child. And as a whole community, we want to see her get her child back. A nigga miss a birthday party. Fuck that nigga. He can't never come back around the child no more. It's sick. There's no other way to explain it. Sick.
Yeah. Somebody tried to do
like, where's the child?
Go ahead, Jessica.
When the child get out of control, then that's when they want the child to come back around. But then it's out of hand, because I see a lot of females do that. Like they want to drop the boy out, but he don't listen to them no more. Or he 14, 15, and they can't do anything good.
Yeah, and then the man like, baby, I done lived 14, 15 years without this child. I done lived 10 years without the child. Girl, fuck you in that child. Figure it out.
Okay.
He's not bad, but he's not wrong. Right. So
The question is... Oh, go ahead, Keisha.
So that's that's ultimately what I'm getting at, because at the end of the day, after studying, or not so much studying, following your page for the past year and looking and getting to the root of the cause, it's really the women. So that's why I go back to the question that I proposed. Is like, okay, we see that there's an issue. A lot of the issues is they are coming from broken homes. And we're not going to deny the shit.
Keisha, let me correct you on one thing. It's the women and the men. Because the reason... it's the women. It's both of us. It's both of us. And it's the upbringing that, like what I'm going to let you finish, what you're about to explain. It's the upbringing that we need to agree needs to change. The upbringing.
Absolutely.
Most of the work that I do is just trying to get us as a community to agree that there's a problem. Because there is a big, not men. I have very few men that argue with me that broken homes are a problem. Even when they're the cause of said particular broken home. I rarely have niggas argue with me, even on one-on-ones, when the dude is saying his situation, I'm saying, bro, you wrong. You need to go back and get around your kids. Even when I say that, he doesn't disagree that the idea of him getting back around his kids is what's necessary as a solution for the whole shit. It's only fucking women that have this thought process that the problem is actually a problem, that missing fathers is an issue, that women raising children is an issue. Go ahead, Keisha.
No, and I don't dispute you at all. But and what I'm getting at is that it starts with us as women, because it's the bitterness. Like, if we wasn't mature enough, or even those that are getting help now, no matter the age, this stuff that we're learning now, we did not learn back then, right? And our parents, God knows, they cannot have this conversation. They're just obsolete. Yep. So now we can take this information. And even I had been going on with you like a week or two ago about my situation, but I was like, what I've learned for that is that I can take it to my 13-year-old daughter and make sure she doesn't make these same mistakes.
Yes.
I am an advocate for men.
Yes.
I am an advocate for men. I don't believe in child support, in the fact that you take a judge get to dictate what a man sees and pays for his kids, but he wasn't in that bedroom when that kid was made. Right. I don't agree with that at all. Right. And don't give them the time. Right. I don't agree with any of these laws. Right. And I figure once we get our mental space together, we can change these laws. I am an advocate for that. Yep. Because it's the legislative. People don't think about that, but we can go change those laws. You know, when child support can be equally divided, he don't just get to pay. Because like one of my best friends, the guy that I was talking to you about, that's when we started to talk and connect, he views his child as nothing more than a bill every month. And it made sense to me. even though the kid is not a bill, but when he can't see a kid but have to pay for it, that's all it becomes.
Yep.
You know, but
Yep.
it starts with us women because we're broken, we're this, we're all the things, but we're raising these young men, or we're prohibiting the fathers from being in their life. You know, but it starts with us. And that's why I was like, getting back to that mindset, because we don't know what it is. Well, some of us don't. You know, I realize, and I have a vocabulary to place with what I've been feeling or what I've been thinking all along.